Anyway, no refugees, only deportations, please. And this is the rallying cry I've seen the American left very quickly jump on. And I think we should too in the UK and the rest of the West. If for no other reason, then, well, we'll be destroyed if we don't.
Sorry, the American left was asking for deportation.
Oh, the American right, sorry.
Oh, right, yeah.
Sorry.
What?
How did I miss there this? Are bizarre things, but not that bizarre.
We all paused for a second. I thought you were like loading up some new information.
No, I was just thinking of other reasons why we should maybe not be destroyed.
Glitching out again.
Seemed like a good enough reason, frankly.
The American right have been very much on the vanguard of this, though.
Well, I kind of expected them to cuck on this one, and it's been interesting to see the defense. So, for people who don't know what I'm talking about, it's not just about the endless numbers of people who want to invade your country. We're talking about Israel, Palestine here, or Israel, Gaza, I think we should say, because it's not like the West Bank's doing much. But anyway, we'll start off with promoting something, which is ranking British cities, which was a lad's hour. This is on lotuses.com. If you want to go check that out, you can. And
it's good fun.
Yeah, we get amazing reviews of these lads' hours, which is great.
Reviews?
Yeah, in the comments.
Oh, right.
I'm still ashamed.
Wait, The Guardian gave it 5 stars.
Oh, yeah. Well, The Guardian definitely gave it 5 stars.
I am still ashamed, though, that we put Birmingham as high as we did, because it wasn't on the bottom rung.
Really?
It was on the second to last.
Yeah, but why is Birmingham on a British city tier list?
This was a question that was asked.
It's a geographical tier.
There was some strange effery going on with ideas of fairness, and because it's got a few nice buildings here and there, so therefore.
Yeah, but the Bull Run is just awful.
Also, I will say this was a less than objective ranking, and there was a lot of BSing going on the entire street.
This wasn't an objective ranking of how much we hate these British cities.
All right, never mind. Don't go watch it. Whatever.
no, it wasn't. It was great. It was good fun. Spoiler: I put Chester at the top, and nobody stopped me. If you're anything like me, witnessing the gradual decline of Western civilization can really drain your energy. But if you want to get through the day with your sanity intact and keep a sharp mind as we wade through the ashes together, a good night of restful sleep is vital. That's why you need Rest Again. Rest Again is a natural supplement that contains 11 scientifically backed ingredients designed to get you to sleep and help you to stay asleep by working with your body's natural processes and not against them. Rest Again wants to ensure you get a great night's sleep and make sure to do this by sticking to doses of ingredients that have been shown to work and have not chosen the cheap option for you. Rest Again starts by supplementing the vitamins that your body needs to produce GABA and melatonin, the sleep chemicals, naturally, including vitamin D, B6 and magnesium. Then, Rest Again adds in herbal extracts like ashwagandha and L-theanine, which have been shown in scientific studies to help people get a better quality of sleep. And to top that off, Rest Again gives you what you need to get to sleep at night, not just after your body has started producing what it needs. That means an extra dose of melatonin and GABA that tells your body it's time to sleep. Rest Again doesn't claim to be magic and can't promise you that it will work for you, but if you're not getting the results that you're satisfied with, then Rest Again guarantees to give your money back. So if you're interested in improving your sleep, then click the link below and get 25% off.
So, speaking of what I'm speaking of, which ties in nicely with Birmingham, I did notice there was a local rat who noticed 2 weeks ago this was the narrative being pushed by mainstream media. Rishi Sunak is right, multiculturalism works, from whoever. What does it matter?
Was this before or after Braverman came out and was like, multiculturalism has failed?
Yeah, so
I concur with this comment on the side here.
I did think he was the local rat you were talking about, and then I saw...
No, I'm talking about Roland.
Yeah, I can see it as Roland is...
There's no need for ad hominem.
I wasn't. I was about to criticize you for that.
Anyway, but there was, this guy comes out, and there's a statement in here, because this is when, as you rightly say, Swallow Braverman said, I think multiculturalism is a bit of a waste of time. And he writes in here in his article, there is a successful British model that manages to incorporate diversity and maintain the country's values and traditions. Yeah, we'll get back to that in a minute. Because we'll start off with the whole... No.
Where is that exactly?
Was it called the Raj? Yeah. What's going on here?
We'll get back to the Americans real quick. So you can see Ron DeSantis, their campaign came out today and was just like, no, zero, literally. I want 0 Gazan refugees, which is entirely correct.
Yeah, but I kind of hate the framing, though, because it's not because we don't want to be overrun by foreigners. It's because they're anti-Semitic. And
sure.
I saw a lot of people going, well, has he met every single Palestinian? It's like, I've seen Palestinian TV, bro. He's probably right on that one.
I've seen fake Mickey Mouse telling me about why I should behead.
Exactly. Yeah. He probably is right about that.
You've not seen Palestinian Mickey Mouse?
It's Palestinian TV is propaganda
You'll have to show it to me afterwards.
and anti-Israel propaganda.
Well, I'll describe it
be
briefly for the
expected,
audience,
really.
the folks at home, which is that there's this fake Mickey Mouse on Palestinian TV that is a kids show. And Mickey Mouse over here, instead of teaching the kids the wonders of giving Disney all your money, is teaching the kids about how to kill Jews.
Wasn't Walt Disney a famous anti-Semite?
I don't know.
I don't
I
know
wonder
if
if
he was
this is why Disney
anti-Semitic.
haven't sued.
He was very he was very anti-communist, and some would suggest that that means the same thing in some
right.
circles.
I wouldn't suggest that.
But either way, I'm all on board. I mean, I remember the Trump Muslim ban, which coincidentally, just to mention, Netanyahu denounced at the time.
He did, didn't he? That's weird, isn't it?
Weird. But
Yeah.
what you should do is use this as your opportunity to just bring it back. Just be like, well, look, yeah, Muslim world, we're very different. No, we respect our Muslim brothers. You guys have your country and your ways and your lands. That's cool. And we can actually work together on that point in which we both have separate lands and we're able to cooperate, but not have mass movement of people. And you can see Charlie Kirk coming out and saying the same thing, where he's like, yeah, no Gazan refugees, to hell with that.
That's a great response. We've seen enough Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar types.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree.
That's
but,
correct.
I'm surprised you're the one saying it.
Secure the border, deport the illegals, reduce legal immigration as well, and make a point system to make sure those who come love America.
Why is it that a war in the Middle East has to be the thing that spurs on this kind of
It's not-
venom?
it was Charlie got groped.
Did he?
Yeah, the groping was successful. And so he's been doing this for about a year now.
Hmm.
But this is a good statement. I like it.
Well, I entirely endorse everything that's going on here, and it's great to see. But there's some people who are like, well, you know, refugees are refugees. And Lauren Chen had a good response. If the refugees in Gaza are a threat to Israel, why the hell would we take them?
Yeah. And why can't Israel take them if they're not?
Crickets.
Oh, and this is in response to Joel Pollak as well.
This-
Oh, yeah, that's the Breitbart editor.
Yeah,
He's like, yeah, we should definitely take in
Well, this was quite
2 million
schizophrenic.
Palestinians.
He has deleted it, but at first he posted something saying we should basically just steamroll, pave over Palestine, the Gaza Strip, and then in the same breath tweeted out but we should definitely take the refugees in. He has deleted that original tweet now.
Well, that's only because that was a genocidal.
Yeah, it was literally a call to genocidal violence, so
But I don't want to take millions of Palestinians.
no.
Well, why should we? I mean, if they're a threat to the Arab world, apparently, and they're a bigger threat to the Jewish world of Israel, then why the hell would they not
And
be
you
a
just,
threat to us?
just know for a fact as well, the second they cross the border, all of a sudden they're good boys who didn't do nothing, and if you say anything about them, you're committing a hate speech.
There's also the local rat. He also chimed in with Britain should not accept a single refugee from Gaza, and people should be prepared to protest en masse against it.
They're not
I-
going to.
I completely agree with this statement.
I agree, but they're not going to.
It would be interesting to see what happens, because every one of the British politicians have been making statements that are just like, these people are terrorists. I want nothing to do with these people. Open the borders.
That's right. They are
That's-
anti-Semitic. Good
That's the next stage,
point. What now?
which would be interesting to, I don't know, live through. I'd say interesting, more like deadly, but whatever. Well, I can see there's some other stuff going on. I mean, the FBI director decided to come out and issue a warning that there are Hamas-style terrorist attacks probably coming to the U.S. soil. Great.
I
Fantastic.
imagine they'll get in through Mexico, like the Africans have been.
Like everyone does.
Well, not only that, you could also, I don't know, already be in the country, such as these freedom-loving Americans. I think I'm compelled to say these are, I think, American citizens in Houston, Texas.
In Houston.
Yes, this is not Tehran. This is Houston. This guy writes.
Well, I mean, all I'm saying is you were like, yeah, let's bring everyone from around the world into our countries, and we'll have absolutely no requirements on these people. So they can do this, and you've made your bed. Now you can have a lie in it.
Well, also, if there's any fraction of these people that are illegal, of course, a state like Texas is the first place they're going to be going through. I feel
Yeah.
absolutely terrible for all of those border towns that have to put up with the movement going through at all times of every day.
Well, most of them are Mexican now.
Yeah,
Well, I love
true,
how this
they're
is-
just
is-
waving their cousins through.
This is such a minority of that kind of immigration as well, the Arab world, let's say. And you can see you got hundreds
Oh,
of
yes,
kids.
let's say the Iran is part of the Arab world.
Sorry,
They'll be
Muslim world, I should
thrilled
say.
with that. They'll be thrilled with that.
But you can also see just like, I mean, it
Average
doesn't take
Arab
much.
rat.
It-
OG Roland rat. No, sorry.
It really doesn't take much for the situation of I think we might have a national security threat going on here. I mean, how many millions of Mexicans have gone to America, and you just don't have the same national security threat you would have if you had, I don't know, millions of Arabs or Iranians?
I mean, well, there are security threats from Mexicans.
Oh, there sure are, but it's not the same level, and that's just true.
True.
You can see this goes on. This is apparently some small center in Houston, which is filling everyone with joy and pride. There's lots of footage of kids reading ridiculous things, talking about how they're going to give their lives for some old guy they've never met across the world because more religion.
Yeah.
Cool.
God, multiculturalism just works so well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look at Michigan. Isn't this great? Look at all the cultures. All one of them. For people watching, for people listening, sorry, we're just looking at a massive Gaza protest in Michigan for some reason.
Yeah, a couple of thousand of them with their Palestine flags.
Yeah, average American concerns. George Floyd is actually the biggest.
Can we go back to that a second? It's just occurred to me that the diversity, the racial pride flag, is modelled on the Palestine flag.
Have you only just? I mean, that's a pretty common flag design, but I imagine that that's where they get it from. Is the Palestinian flag?
I reckon that's where they're going to have got it from.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, sorry, carry on. That's just.
Well, we'll get back to queers for Palestine later.
Oh, good.
But we can see the White House decided to put out a statement this weekend, because this is what this is all predicated on. This weekend, there was stuff going on, but it all got just drowned out by the Palestine stuff. The White House decided to celebrate George Floyd's death this weekend, which was a bit weird.
By the way, do you remember the middle of 2020, how great a time everyone was having then? Let's remind everyone.
Yeah. There's also a local Canadian here, YouTuber, who is pretty famous, who decides he's a bit concerned about Canada now, which I thought was funny.
Hey.
So there's some leaflets being handed out. Ecological collapse, no liberation through the state, 150 years of genocide. Follow your dreams, kill Canada.
That sounds like one of those mistranslated Japanese lines of dialogue.
It does.
Yeah, and then he's just like, well, previously this was easy to dismiss, but in the world of mass murder...
Well, I love how this is written in Zoomer speak. Like,
yeah.
Just what... But also, whose dreams, just out of interest? Average Canadian dreams.
Who doesn't want to kill Canada except the Canadians? But he just says, now we live in some era of liberation. This stuff seems a lot more ominous and sinister. Which brings us back to the UK, because thinking of sinister things, local man.
They've been threatening this for years, and they've always been as sinister as they are now.
Well, speaking of which, getting back to the UK, local man was found guilty of sexually assaulting 11-year-old girl. Barnsley man.
Typical Barnsley man.
Zayad Tahibi.
Average Barnsley man.
From Barnsley.
How long has he lived in Barnsley?
Oh, who cares? Not important to the BBC.
4 or 5 years, probably.
Some person here says
he was there when he was caught, therefore he is of that place. These are the rules.
Good point.
But sadly, there's no death penalty, so I can't call for that, but I called for deportation in this tweet. But
is there deportation?
I mean, he's likely anti-Semitic, so maybe we could deport him on that basis, because him raping children apparently isn't enough. And, well, this is the big thing that's kind of shocked me over the weekend, and the move in rhetoric to be like, well, no refugees, we need to deport them now. It was this. This is what did it. So you can see here, this is London, where someone's waving the flag of Al-Qaeda.
Yep.
That's a crime. It's terrorism offences crime, and the police just didn't.
I can't help but imagine there are going to be quite a few of those sort of offences happening in a crowd like that, but nobody cares and no one's going to get arrested because those laws don't apply to them. They apply to you.
There were a couple of Taliban supporters who turned up in, I believe it was Montreal, with their flags outside, and the Palestinian guys came up and were just like...
Given that, since all of the conflict has emerged, I believe that the terror threat within the UK has been knocked up to, I think it's substantial, which is listed as a terror attack likely. You see a man in a large crowd like this waving that flag, you going to go near him? I'm not going to go near him.
I'm not going to go near that crowd.
I'm not going to go near that crowd at all. I don't want to be spread far and wide in many different pieces.
Yeah.
Which is why this crowd must become your neighbours.
Yes, thank you, Serco.
I did see, I don't include the footage, there's one guy who decided to go down to these protests with an Israeli flag, and they tried to kill him, obviously.
Yeah.
And then they arrested the guys who were trying to kill him, and they found knives on the guys.
Oh, really?
So,
what a shock.
You know when you go to a protest and you bring a knife? You know when we used to do the Brexit marches and we would all take knives?
Oh, yeah. Massive machete style things, yeah.
Average British political traditions. Remember those Anglo-Saxon traditions? Carlson would talk about.
I do, and I can't believe that he left that out.
Yeah.
The habit of going, I can't, why are these people here?
I stuck with Douglas Carswell. It's just like 27 Brits have been killed and abducted last week. So 50,000 people in Britain turned out to support the killers. Multiculturalism is a fraud. We need to consider revoking citizenship.
Well, I mean,
former MP.
No, I think we've considered that, Douglas. No, I
think we're there.
Yeah, I think we're well past that point.
The irony is, of course, that a lot of these people will have been brought through aid given by international NGOs, some of which have been funded by Israel in the past. Like there's one that I saw people highlighting called ISRAID or something, ISRAID,
Oh, yeah.
who were, one of the big NGOs that were supporting the flood of refugees and immigrants into Europe in the first place. So it's ironic that they did that and then thought this will have no further consequences.
Yeah, the thing is, though, even if they didn't do that, I guess you guys don't remember that the Labour Party actively sent canvassers to foreign countries to try and get immigrants. So even if they didn't do that, we're still Tony Blair and his Labour Party and then the Conservatives are still going to literally kidnap foreigners and drag them here. No, you will come and live here.
We need more anti-Semites. There's not enough diversity of anti-Semitism in the UK. Come on, please.
Live under the rainy sky, eat the beans on toast.
No,
there's worse
doing any of that.
Do than eat beans on toast.
Yeah, sure.
But it should be for Brits only.
Nice. Do any of these people eat beans on toast?
Of course they don't.
Come on. All I'm saying.
They eat slop. And not Brit slop.
I agree with Douglas.
Foreign slop, the worst kind of slop.
I agree with Douglas. I think it's the way to solve everything.
Of course.
The West has. Pretty much every issue, actually. The housing crisis, for one, will be nice and easily solved. We can see here, it's not just in London, of course. You can see some Leicester cricket fans, as I think they are got to be called, came out to say that they stand with the killers, I guess.
It's like something out of a Monty Python skit or something. It's like you're going to stand on the rainy streets of some British town and be like, yeah, Palestine. It's like, just the locals must be looking, what?
In front of what appears to be the arches of a local church tower or something as well.
No. The holy signs of the American world, McDonald's, and the Canadian Tim Hortons in the background there.
Yeah.
That's all that's really hovering over all
this. But at no point do these people sit around going, what world do we even live in? Above them, there is the sort of global order. And they're like, yeah, we've got like a parochial ethnic concern. It's like, do you think the global order cares about your parochial ethnic concern?
If all the protests there are a waste of time, and to be fair, at least this is a waste of time.
I guess.
These people are waking you and me up, which is good. But apart from that, what are they doing for, Hamas? If you want to help them, you'd go join them, and they're not. So, we can deport you, and hopefully that'll be in your interest, apparently. So get lost, because, don't support terrorism here. You can see this goes on. This is Sheffield, apparently. You remember Sheffield? Remember the long history you'd learn in school?
Yeah.
Kebab houses and Indian food?
Oh, right. I was going to say industrial. But okay, never mind.
No. Support for Palestine is all Sheffield's ever been known for.
I'm not entirely surprised. The last time that I went to Sheffield, it was in 2017, I think, and it was wall-to-wall Labour signs outside of every single house.
Well, to be fair, the Palestinian flag does double up as a Labour flag. So
it's true.
It's true.
I know that's true, right? So,
and any foreign flag at this point related to anywhere.
Oh, no, the Israeli flag does.
Well, apart from the Israeli flag,
but specifically the Palestinian flag absolutely does, and the Sinn Féin flag.
I just for anyone who's joined us, I don't really care about Israel Palestine. I care about where I live, and that's what this is all spurred on by.
Unfortunately, this is where we live.
Well, what's the future? What's the future proposal for us from those Labourites? Well, we have Dan Hodges here, who read the news that Jewish schools in London were being closed in the interests of safety of children, because I don't know, other Israelis were going to kill them presumably. And he decides to respond with, "This is a mistake. If necessary, we should deploy the army to ensure the security of these schools, but they should not close."
So, God for multiculturalism, guys.
So
import loads of people who are going to kill you, and then have the army on the streets so the diversity doesn't kill itself.
Are we unironically reaching the Singapore has to be a police state to keep everybody getting along with one another? The Raj needs to govern with an iron fist to keep all of the different ethnicities getting along with each other. Are we at that level?
Yeah, 400 years ago, the English were really offended by the idea of having a standing army at all.
Yes.
And now we're like, we need to keep them on the streets to make sure the Jews and the Palestinians don't murder each other.
100 years ago, our police...
What has this got to do with the British? Well, we fund it. That's true.
100 years ago, our police didn't have to carry weapons on them at all to be able to maintain the peace.
Yep.
Now we need armed police on every street.
No, the army. Not armed police. The army. Literally like in France, to be honest. I went to Disneyland a few years ago, and it's just squads of guys with rifles.
It's been that way for about a decade now.
Yeah.
That's normal.
I've said before, I experienced it the day after the Manchester arena bombings, going to university in Manchester. It was very, very surreal feeling. There was something, there was a bad atmosphere in the air, and you just saw men walking around with assault rifles.
Yeah, I think it's a bit late then.
You know what's more surreal?
But that's what our police does. They show up after the crime's been committed.
Good point.
You know what's more surreal? Queers for Palestine actually becoming real.
Yeah.
Lawrence Southern's case.
That man knows he's a joke.
Some people turned up at the rally, I think sincerely with these signs that were just like, yeah, queers for Palestine. I was like,
sorry, we're bringing Palestine to the queers.
We are. Also, people are going to have to flee London pretty soon.
These men know that they're clowns.
But the people here, I mean, were directly supporting terrorism. And you see these two folks who have the paragliders taped to their backs as they go out and wave their flags.
It's hard to think of a more direct endorsement of terrorism, isn't it?
Well, how about calling for the death of Jews out loud?
Okay, there's that.
There we are.
This is what decolonization looks like, guys.
Yep, that's true.
You know, I'm surprised, honestly, that they didn't have pictures of the MEN, again, taped to their backs the day after.
But you can see these guys here, they're shouting that Khyber, oh, the Jews, the army of Muhammad will return.
Oh.
So they're referencing a battle there between Muhammad and the Jews, where Muhammad killed a bunch of Jews.
Oh yeah, he killed 600 Jewish people. Yeah.
Not that particular battle. I think it was only 20 Jewish people that time he killed.
Oh really? Okay.
Only that time though.
Yeah.
None of this is a hate crime in Britain, of course.
No, none of these people seem to have been charged with anything. Police said they're investigating it, but they haven't found anyone.
They're investigating it.
It's amazing, really.
Just like they do with the burglaries.
You can see, I mean, it went on all day. There's police officers all over London, apparently.
Can you imagine what Nelson was thinking, looking down from heaven?
Yeah, this
so what has happened underneath the giant column of me?
There's a massive carved statement on that stone as well that says, England expects every man to do his duty.
Yes.
And in front of it are thousands and thousands of Palestinians celebrating Hamas. Okay.
I just hate this country sometimes.
Cool. No laws were enforced, as our good friend here was able to point out. It's illegal to cover your face at a protest. It didn't matter. The police literally saw people doing this and let them carry on.
Yeah, but you can literally go, no laws are enforced, and then end the sentence there.
I can indeed. Speaking of, the cenotaph. This is the thing that most got me, and I think will most get people at home.
Yep.
The cenotaph being the memorial believed to World War II specifically, but wars in general as well since. And you can see the police decided to litter the place with their riot gear. That was fun. Amazing. Then they decided they'd set up a stage there, the Palestinians. I don't know who gave them approval for that. You're not allowed usually to put the stage right next to it. They decided to then put their flags on the cenotaph. Great. Great, thanks. This could not be more insulting. And then you can see here, some guy decided to get on top of a statue of Charles I.
Oh, did he?
And wrap a Palestinian flag around him.
Oh, great.
Yeah, what wonderful people. London really is so English. And to end it off, we're just there.
They're desecrating the statue of Monty now.
Yes, Montgomery. I don't know how he's honoured in any way being in London anymore, that statue. Just move the statue.
Why are any of these people here? Like,
well,
God.
You see, you let us in.
Yeah.
That's really all it comes down to. And just going to end this off with the fact that the Brits obviously aren't being treated the same way. This guy here was arrested.
British flag? I don't think so, chum.
So there was organised long before the Palestine thing blew up, a protest to send them back, which was about the boat people. And I don't know if this guy was part of that, but someone turned up with a British flag and was arrested. The police are insisting that he engaged in racist chanting, and that's why we arrested him, not because of the flag.
Right.
But none of the eyewitnesses say that's what happened.
Right.
Except the police.
Right.
So do you trust the police?
No.
And that police officer on the right who's grabbing at his hand looks like he might have more in common with the protesters than this gentleman.
Maybe, but the thing is just all these laws are being broken, but someone turns up not breaking the law, but holding a British flag, and he gets arrested.
Do you know why?
Public order offence, wasn't it?
No, the police let us know before the protest even started. So this is the Telegraph. Tens of thousands of pro-Palestinian marches expected in London. So they wrote to the police and said, what are your thoughts about the protest coming up? Do you have anything to say? Police sources told the Telegraph that they were most concerned about right-wing and nationalist groups seeking to provoke Palestinian supporters. So it's in the text there.
And the Palestinian supporters were not seen as a provocation in them, in themselves.
Not the guy who tried to kill someone with a knife. No. Not the Al-Qaeda supporters. Not the Hamas supporters. None of the people.
Not the fact that already in Swindon we had somebody
to do what?
Well,
in Swindon we had that guy who was arrested, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
In France, there was a stabbing in north of France.
But you can see a series of English, patriots did attend. I presume they were meant to be there for the protest that was already planned to send the sea people back. Which ended up getting caught in on this. But they wave their British flags, and in this clip, you can see it. I suppose I'll put it from the start so you can see the full context. We don't need the noise because it's just protest noise.
Yeah.
They're just holding English flags, and then the Palestinians come up trying to attack them. So it just turns into a brawl where it's like, no, you're not taking my England flag. Go to hell. Which, correct response to someone trying to steal from you, especially someone who is in that context. Yeah, and they've been treated very differently for years.
Yeah,
Posey Parker. It's just like, oh, thank God they didn't misgender anyone. I'm being investigated for calling a nonce, for being untoward towards pedophiles.
Like, she didn't even say that. She just said she was untoward toward them.
Yeah, and these guys here are chanting about how they're going to find the Jews. We want the Zionists. We want their blood. And that's okay. Well, when the Mayor of London's come in to tell us that diversity is our greatest strength in response to all of this.
That's an amazing statement.
In response to all of I just shown you, this was his response. Everything's fine. Everything's going as planned.
That's true, though.
It is.
And this is totally true. Diane may be like, white people have divide and rule, but it's not really white people that are doing the dividing and ruling. It's the progressives. The diversity is our strength because that keeps them on top, and they know it.
And this happened all over the Anglosphere over the weekend. It happened in Australia. It happened in all of the European countries that you suspect. It happened in America, as I showed. It happened in Canada. And I'll end this off with probably just the worst thing that happened, because you can look at it and think, what the hell is wrong with you? Well, you have Frankfurt here, but that's not the worst part in Germany. This was the worst part.
Oh, really?
Someone was going around putting up Jewish stars where Jews live.
Oh, really?
In Germany. Most people were like, please be a prank. Please be a prank. But there's no community notes. It's not a prank. There are lots of examples of it too. Great. Things going well.
Wow, you brought Palestine to yourselves.
But this is why I endorse the movement that has propped up in the American right and needs to be spread, I think, all over the West. No refugees and deportations only, please. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as Lads Hour, this one on who would you spend 48 hours as. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.